Before I go any further, I just wanted to say I did grab this chunk of ostrich head, and I want to replace the baby's head with this ostrich head, but I'm afraid I might mess it up, so pretend I'm not doing this. Delete the layer mask. Here on the baby layer, I'm going to add a layer mask. There's nothing on it yet, and I'm going to use a black brush to mask out the head. I'm not removing the head. It looks like I'm removing the head, but in truth, I'm just masking it out. If I wanted to bring the head back, I could paint with white on that same layer. See, it's still there. Okay, and here I'll show the ostrich head, and then I like this ostrich head because I'll be able to like move the head as I go, like wobble it around. It's a little tall. Oh, sorry, baby. It's a little tall, but I want the neck to kind of fit well. So here, with the ostrich head layer, again, I'll add a layer mask. I'll make sure that black is on the brush, B for brush, and just mask out till it gets to here. And let me try that again here, till it gets to here. Oh, looking good. Okay, and I'm going to call that good enough for the tutorial. Like, they'll think that is so funny, right?
I like the curves that you did around the neck to make
just
it
think
really look attached.
Yeah, look softer. I could also change the levels of the ostrich head or the body to make the flesh or burn. That's what I'll do. I'll use the burn tool here. So I'm going to zoom in. And I talked about burn and dodge. So here I want to actually dodge. This is going to darken the color. And so on the highlights, I'm going to increase the brush size. And here I'll, oh, the other thing. I want the other thing. I want the burn. I want to make it darker. So I want to burn or darken the highlights here. And now I don't want them gray. So the other choice I have is to choose a color like the ostrich furry color here. And then use the brush using the hue mode. And again, I'm painting on the baby layer here, and I'm just not changing any. It is changing, but it doesn't look good. And then finally, the other choice I could do, and this is a little crazy, but I'll just make like a selection area here. Am I doing anything? No, now I am. And then in this selection area, okay, I'll create a new layer above the baby layer. I will paint it, B for brush, with that color. I know that looks bad right now. And then unselect it, change it to overlay, not whatever that is. Overlay, no, one of these, like darker maybe, darken, multiply, darken, lying, go back to normal. Yeah, I think I'll just do a regular transparency, just like bring it down a little, just so it has a little softness, and then just using a brush again or an eraser. You know, this is for students in a art and technology class, so you know we can't make this be too difficult. So just using the soft eraser, now it just blends a little bit better. I think it looks pretty good over here, and I'm going to call it a day. And then I'm just going to, with these two layers, I'm going to put this layer into the baby layer so they're not separate. So that's actually called,
that's something they like.
yeah, this is called merge down. So I'm going to take that little neck fringe. I should put a scarf around the neck, but merge down. And now that's part of applying. I'm going to apply the mask. So the baby's head will not be coming back if I apply the mask. But that's okay. Okay, because we don't want it anyway. And now that looks a little bit better. So, all right. So now we're really ready to animate because everything is in place. Okay, so make sure your file is saved. This is very important. If the file is not saved, you really, really want the file to be saved. Then also, if the head and the body are going to move separately, which in my case they are, any masking I do to that layer, I like to apply that now. So I'm happy with it, so I will do this thing, right mouse clicking, apply layer mask, which is going to cut the ostrich head. Boom, it's cut now. There's no returning. And the reason I like to do that is because it's going to make it a lot easier for me to start like rotating the head as it walks and not like be messing around with the mask and everything. So now it's really, really ready to animate. And then once you're happy with it and every layer that you want to be working with is ready to go, then you can, of course, save the file. Yep, it's saved. And then we're going to go to Window. We're going to change our workspace here to use the Motion workspace. The name of that workspace is the motion workspace. Window, workspace, motion. And it opens up this timeline at the bottom, which doesn't look like it's doing anything yet. And in fact, we may decide that we need to do some more changes to our file, but I just want to give you an idea of what to expect before you go back and change anything else, okay? So what the premise here is that you've got this thing called the timeline right there. Video timeline versus, if you take a look on screen here, you can change this to the frame-by-frame animation timeline, which is now on, versus now it's doing it. All right, so I put it was on video timeline. I change it to frame by frame. I'm going to reload the workspace here just so I can show that again. So I'm going to reset the motion workspace. And it actually did not put this back on the video timeline workspace. And to do that, video timeline. So where is that? I can put it back again with the fly out here. Convert to video timeline. So now it's the video timeline. I don't want that timeline. I want to do, for our first getting to know this thing, I want to put this back on the frame by frame timeline. So, or the animation frame timeline. So it is going to be set timeline. I'm just flailing here. Panel options, make them bigger. That's probably a good idea. That's beside the point. But I don't want this timeline. I want the old timeline. From the flyout menu. Why won't you let me change it back? Set timeline frame rate. Allow frame skipping, delete timeline. Or I'm going to delete the timeline. What the heck? Oh, good. That cleaned it up. So look, create frame animation versus when you click it, it puts the first frame, which is
frame
animation, and then click it. And I'm going to do it again because I can just make this go away. Oh, here I can convert it to the video timeline, which is not what I want to do for this animation. But here, to make it all go away and to start over again, I chose delete timeline, clunk, and then see, this is a button. And when you click on it, create frame animation, you may need to switch it to this.
Yeah.
Click once and you have your first frame. Now the first frame indicates, if you've ever made a flip book, the first page in your flip book. So just watch as I go through this. First and foremost, I'm going to select both the creature layers and click to also have the head, which I should rename head. Now, that's how I want it to look, and I'm going to move them both, since they're both selected, off the stage. And you can see, ooh, I have a little boo-boo there on one of the layers that needs to be erased. So I'm going to go to the eraser tool now, because that's a situation where I did not erase everything properly, and it must be on the creature, otherwise known as the baby body layer. And now I'm really ready to animate because I don't have any junk. Right. Then that's the first frame of my animation. So bear with me because I might not do it perfectly the first time. I probably won't, okay? So here, this is going to duplicate the selected frame. Just press this watch first. I'm going to show you as many times as we need to do it. And then this guy's going to just kind of peek his head in there. And then I'm going to, again, duplicate the frame twice because I like it where it's peeking in. So I'm going to have him stay there for 2 frames. And then here, hopefully this is working. It might be wrong, okay? I haven't done it, in like a week. All right, now let's see what my movie looks like. Okay, this is my movie frames. La, 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 la. Okay, I'm going to do it again. I know you want to do it while I'm doing it, but I'm going to ask you to just watch. So I'm going to select all these and trash them. They're going away. Yes. Now, it's off stage when it starts, and this is add a new frame. This is the button right here. Look, that's the new frame. Now I move what I want to have happen in the new frame. He's peeking in like that. I might even want to rotate it here, so it just kind of leans in.
So when you selected that object, when you selected the baby,
These are both selected.
to move him in and off the screen. Okay.
And then I'm going to, so all of a sudden he goes from nothing, I have to hit enter. See, now that's really not off screen. Sometimes you have to back out. So now he starts off screen and then, oh my God, there's an ostrich there. What the heck? Right? And then there's a bird peeking in there. Now this is a bad thing I'm going to do. Okay, am I recording? Yes, I am. This is a bad thing I'm going to do. This is very bad. And really you shouldn't do this. So I'm going to not do it, which is to say I'm going to duplicate these two layers because if I don't duplicate these two layers and I scale something, I could be very sorry later. Because I want to make this look like this ostrich head and this baby on this next frame, adding a frame, are really big. And we talked about resolution, so if I make it really big here, he's like showing more of his head, it may not look very sharp if I make it small again. So he's sort of like peeking in, and I might even want to, again here, just select, click away, just select the head, and filter, sharpen. I'm not showing you this so that you have to do every one of these things. I'm showing you this to show you it's possible. So, starts here. What? Starts here. They all increased the size. So this is why I showed you this. So here's the deal. I could hide these two and show. So that's how I want it to start. Then I want this to happen. Yeah, but the head and the body got separated. Nope, they didn't. Here's the head, correct head and body. So that's frame 2. And then frame 3 is these two turned on. Yes. Hiding, showing. He's bigger. Okay. And then, again, new frame. And here I'll just, again, with both the head and the body selected, just rotate it up. Like he's like not sure if he wants to come in, right? I don't want to. And then add a new frame. But every time you do this, you kind of have to you're going to have to show them. You may have to backtrack because you're moving something and Photoshop's not really sure what to do. You're like, so now that looks better, right? So start, peek in. Now I'm looking at you. Wait a minute, I'm hiding. Okay? But maybe really it should move back further. So I've done this a long time. So I know how to do it. You're just learning. So that's what I'm trying to. And make sure that auto select is on. That'll make your life easier. So he's like, now he's moving down. But this one will look like it moved down. Or no, it didn't. It did well. So here it's off, peeking, close up. He's not sure. Okay? And now new layer. And now, again, which two are these? These are the top two. I'm going to let you add it in a second here. And now he's going to move in. Head and body got separated. Am I showing the right body with the right head? I might not be. I need this body. Nope, that's right. I have the right ones. So, I don't know. I moved the head by itself. And so they're going to be like, oh, they're going to be laughing. Ha, ha, ha. And now we got to put that head back on there. So we're like this. Let's try it again. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay? All right. Do you have an idea what to start doing? Okay.